Hello everyone, this is Professor Stewart creating this video going over the course syllabus for your class. If you are listening to this, you are taking an online class from me for the spring 2020 semester. So that would either be business and professional communication or interpersonal communication. I am not going to go over specific assignments for each class. Instead, I'm going to go over the common things in the course syllabus for both classes so that I can combine this video for you both. So let's get started. First things first, if you do not know, I am at the University Park campus. Some of you might be taking this class where you take the majority of your face-to-face classes at another campus, but I am at UP. That is where my office is. It's 13802. If you are on campus and you want to come by and say hi or you have a question, feel free to do that. I have no issues with that. In fact, last semester I had about 2 or 3 of my online students stop by because they had a question, and it was just easier for them to ask in person than it was to ask via email. This is my office phone. I ask that you don't call me unless I'm in my office for office hours. If you call me and I'm not in my office, and let's say you leave a voicemail, well, I can't return your phone call until I get back into the office whenever that next time might be. So if you are going to call, that's totally fine. You just need to call during my office hours, which are right here. And I should really rephrase this and call this student hours, as that is the time specifically for students. So office hours / student hours are Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. I am there Monday afternoons from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. And I do a D2L chat for 1 hour every Tuesday evening from 5 to 6 p.m. This particular chat, when we first have it, we didn't have it this past Tuesday because it was the first week of class, so there was no need. So we will start this next Tuesday. I will send an email to the class of how to get started with D2L chat. It's just basically a chat in D2L, a chat feature. I started using this about 3 or 4 years ago, actually, and I started it mostly for my online class. Then I opened it up to my face-to-face classes, and over the last probably 2 years, I've seen that my face-to-face students utilize it more than my online students. So regardless, it's for all of my students, and as I said before, next Tuesday I'll send out instructions on how to get started with D2L chat. These are my email addresses. You need to use the one in D2L, this one right here. This one right here is my faculty email. That's reserved for our colleagues, the dean, the vice president, the president, things of that nature. The reason I don't want you emailing me at that email address is because your email address is important to me, and I don't want it to get lost in the shuffle. And I get a ton of emails to my faculty email address, whereas the email address in D2L, this one right here, is specifically for you. That's students only. So always email me in D2L. I do have a Twitter and an Instagram. If you want to follow me there, that's totally cool. I just started the Instagram this semester, so there's not a lot posted. I don't even think there's anything posted, but I'm going to start posting stuff as we go along throughout the semester, things that we're doing on campus, different activities that we have on campus. I'll post some pictures of some of the stuff I do in my face-to-face class, just in case you want to see that. So you can follow me there. That's no problem. As you see, this syllabus is for business and professional, but if I go to the interpersonal one, it's the exact same thing. So your textbook is in Connect. I have sent instructions of 2 videos for you to watch to see how you are to sign up for your textbook for this course, and that is required. You have decided to take an online class. So one of the things I want you to be aware of is taking an online class doesn't necessarily mean work at your own pace. I mean, sure, it is designed to where if you want to wake up at 3 in the morning if you can't sleep and it's 3 in the morning and you want to work on assignments, you are more than welcome to do that. But the thing I think some students don't realize about online classes is there are still due dates. There are still due dates for all assignments. So you do have to be aware of that. When you talk about being in an online class, it is expected that you're participating, especially on the discussion boards. The discussion boards are designed to take the place of class face-to-face communication or class participation in a face-to-face class. Something for both the interpersonal class and for the business and professional. So here it is on the interpersonal syllabus. Let's go to the business and professional syllabus. It's the exact same thing. You must complete at least one assignment minimum in Module 1 to remain in the class. And that is coming straight down from the Vice President. This shows that you would be active in the class and that you can remain in the class. If you do not complete at least one assignment minimum in Module 1, that means just one of any of them, then you will be automatically dropped from the class, no ifs, ands, or buts. So you do need to be aware of that is posted right here in the syllabus. Office hours and email, as I said before, my office is at UP. If you want to come see me during office hours, that's totally fine. It is expected that you know how to properly send an email to me, your professor. Remember, my name is not Hey. I just want you to be aware of that. My name is Professor Stewart, so I expect that you would start the email, Dear Professor Stewart, or Dear Mr. Sean, or something along those lines. Go into your email, sincerely. This is Mary from your online business and professional class, and then you're ending the email, sincerely, Mary, or thank you, Mary, respectfully, Tom, something along those lines. Over the next couple of days, probably the next day or two, I will upload a file in D2L for both business and professional and interpersonal. That folder will be called Quick Hits. In that folder will be videos that I have created specifically for your class. These videos have been created by me over the course of the last few years. I am not going to keep tabs on whether you have watched them or not. These are supplemental to the course. It is not required that you watch them. I can see whether or not you did watch them, but I'm not going to keep up with that. But what I will say is this. There could be questions on exam 1, exam 2, or exam 3, or the final exam over something coming from one of the quick hits. So you just need to be aware of that. All assignments are due Central Standard Time by the due date posted in D2L. You should not be emailing me assignments unless I specifically ask for you to. Because you are both online classes, all of your assignments will have a Dropbox. Online access and email, remember, you've chosen to take an online class, so in choosing to take an online class, it's expected that you have working internet access. Not having working internet access is not an excuse. Even if you don't have the best internet access or you don't have working internet access and there are still things due, you can always go up to your nearest campus and complete your assignments. It's your responsibility to log into D2L and connect every day. It's not my responsibility to remind you, although occasionally I will post reminders of what's due in this particular module, so just be aware of that. Chain of command, all this basically states is if you have an issue with me, the first person you should contact is me, your professor. I guarantee you we will figure it out. I guarantee you I will give you an answer. What I won't guarantee is that you will like the answer. So if for some reason you and I can't figure it out, then the next person you go to is our department chair for behavioral and social sciences at University Park, and that's Dave Gare. His phone number is here. And then if you and he cannot figure it out, then you go to the dean, who's Dr. Brandy Berg. What we don't want you to be doing as students is having an issue with your professor and then going directly to the dean, the vice president, or the president, or even the chancellor. The first thing they're going to ask you is, have you talked to your professor? If that answer is no, they're going to send you right back to the professor to talk to him or her. Basic need, if you are having trouble securing food to eat, if you are having trouble securing shelter, you don't have a place to live, a place to stay, I ask that you contact me so I can get you in contact with communities and schools or the appropriate persons depending on what issue you may have. We have come to find out that there are people roaming around our campuses, not just at University Park, but at all 7 campuses. There are students roaming around who do not have food to eat, who are food insecure. And what I mean by that is this. It's not that they can't decide what to eat tonight between Chick-fil-A and Chili's. It's they have no food at their home to eat. And a lack of food has a direct impact on your success in the college classroom. This is not just an issue at Lone Star. This is a research-based issue in both community colleges and four-year universities all across the United States. In fact, this is one area of what my doctoral dissertation is actually in. So if you have this issue, please, please, please do not be afraid to contact me so I can put you in contact with the appropriate people. So now at this point, for interpersonal, you can start looking at your grade determinations on the syllabus. By the way, there's always a copy of the course syllabus for you in the content tab of D2L. But one thing that's the same in both interpersonal and let me go to the business and professional. In the business and professional is the discussion boards. The discussion boards, it seems like based on what I've seen from both classes, I think the majority of you have it down of how the discussion board should be. So here's the deal. I'll ask you a question for each chapter in each module. There's a minimum of 2 questions asked. There could be 3 questions asked. Your job is to answer all of the questions, either both questions 1 and 2, or all 3 questions, questions 1, 2, and 3. Your total answers for all of the questions need to add up to a minimum of 500 words. I'll repeat that again. Your total answer for all of the questions for that chapter need to add up to 500 words. There's no need to type out the question before your answer. However, if you do type out the question before your answer, the question itself does not count towards your 500-word total. So typically, after the first module has closed, I try to grade that discussion board pretty quickly. The reason I want to grade it pretty quickly is because I want you to be aware of what you're doing either correctly or incorrectly for the DBs so that you can make that adjustment for the remaining modules. You must post your first post by the first post due date. The first post is your answers to the questions that I have asked. If you do not post it by the first post due date, it's -5 off the top before I even start grading. You must reply to at least 2 of your classmates, and each reply must be 150 words apiece. If you do not do that or don't reply at all, it's -3. If you do not meet the 500-word threshold for your replies, it's -4. These points can add up quickly. If there's one place where you're thinking to yourself, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all of that done, you do not want to slack off on the discussion boards because those points add up quickly. And I'll give you one final piece of advice for the DBs. Let's say you've missed the first post due date. Go ahead and post your post. Yeah, you might get -5, but remember, this is a points-based class, so some points are better than no points. If you have any questions about the DBs, do not be afraid to ask. And the one thing I wanted you to be aware of for both the business and professional and the interpersonal is crap happens clause. So each class has a crap happens clause. They're a little bit different for both classes because they're different assignments for both classes. The crap happens clause, every one of you is allotted 7 crap happens days. This is only specifically for my class, Professor Stewart. So each student, each one of you has 7 crap happens days that you can use towards any assignment. If you feel like you're not going to be able to get the assignment done before the due date, then you just email me before the due date and say, Professor, I would like to use crap happens days. And then you tell me how many crap happens days you want to use to get the assignment done. It doesn't matter to me why you're using them. You don't need to explain what's causing you to use them. You just need to tell me how many you need to use, and then I'll reply back with, okay, your new due date is this, and you have until that due date to turn in your assignment. If you don't turn in your assignment by that new due date, then it's just a 0. I will give you a bit of advice here. Do not waste your crap happens days on quizzes or discussion boards. If you're applying your crap happens dates to quizzes or discuss, I'm not saying you can't do that, but what I'm saying is, trust me, I'm your professor. You don't want to waste crap happens days on a quiz or on a discussion board. You want to save that for the major assignments in the class. I do take plagiarism seriously. I've found that the last 3 plagiarism cases I've had over the last couple of years have all been from students in online classes. The first time you plagiarize, it's a 0 for the assignment, and I write your name down in a book in my office. The second time you plagiarize, it's an automatic 0 for the class, and you'll be reported to the Vice President of Student Services, and I will do my darndest to make sure that you're expelled from Lone Star College and you are never able to enroll ever again. I am 2 for 2, so just be aware of that. Look at the withdrawal policy. The last day you can drop with a grade of W is April 1st, 2020. And for each class, you have your assignments and your calendar, your course calendar. But the one thing for both classes is here's the syllabus caveat, meaning I can change the syllabus whenever I want, but I only change it because it's copyright of me. The school doesn't own it. The president doesn't own it. UP doesn't own it, I own it. But one thing I want you to be aware of, I will never, ever, ever change something in the course syllabus unless it's to your benefit. I will only do that to benefit my students. I do not believe in harming my students in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So something that I do want to go over is course myths. Let me check the time, we're still good. Course myths, when it comes to online courses, something to be aware of here. First things first, the whole purpose of my online classes, me, Professor Stewart, I want to increase your level of thinking and learning and increase your critical thinking. That's how I structure my online classes. A couple of myths about online classes. They are work at your own pace. Remember, there are due dates for assignments, just like face-to-face classes. There's not really, I've heard a couple of students say there's less working online. I've heard a couple of students say there's more working online. My response is you just do the same assignments as face-to-face classes. So there's not really less or more. Now, I can only speak for my online classes. I can't speak for other professors. And then I've heard online is easier or online is harder. They're just delivered differently. Online classes really aren't about simplicity, they're about convenience. The whole purpose of taking an online class is because you just can't make it up to campus to take the class. Some information regarding the spring 2020 semester, not logging in at least every other day can get you behind, so you need to be aware of the due dates in the course calendar and in D2L. Please, please, please remember, this is your professor telling you this, your health, your jobs, and your family come first. If you need to, you can always drop this class. But if you're experiencing something that's causing you not to be successful in the class, you need to contact me. And the one thing I want you to be aware of, computer issues are not an excuse. So please go back and read that part of the course syllabus. I don't know why it's not letting me do that. There we go. And then finally, all DBs and chapter readings are open. I'll start opening up major assignments as we get closer to those due dates. If you have D2L login or issues, you must contact OTS. I will also post the contact information for Connect if you have an issue with Connect. How that works is if you have an issue with Connect, you contact them. They give you a reference number, then you give me that reference number. I contact Connect, and then we go from there. Don't be afraid to keep me posted what's going on in life. If you just celebrated a birthday, if you're excited about your trip this summer, if you're feeling stressed out, if you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, if your kid had an awesome play at elementary school and you just want to tell me about it, don't be afraid to contact me about that. I love hearing from my students and I want to hear from you guys. And then finally, if you need to talk to me, set up an appointment. We could do Skype, we could do video chat, or if you're at the University Park campus, we could stop by and see me or have an appointment with me. That's totally fine. I think you're going to love both classes, both business and professional and the interpersonal class, which regardless of which one you're in, I think you're going to love it. You're going to learn a little bit more about yourself as it relates to either the business world or personal relationships. I'm thankful that you're here and welcome to my class for the spring 2020 semester.